This, ladies and gentlemen, is basically an article. My press release people put it together, and I'm just going to read it to you rather than put it out. It's better, it hits more people this way than, actually with the press release, it does a very good job too, but there's many of them out there, almost 50 releases about the medical and aerospace, automotive, everything. They're very good. But let me read this to you, if I may. I was there April 2nd at the Ted Cruz inquisition of Kelly Oberg. My feeling is that these committees send the high-profile people to a breakdown of the questions and who's going to ask the questions to them. That's my feeling. I saw that when I went to the David Calhoun Inquisition, June 18, 2024, and my gut feeling after seeing this, Ted Cruz deal, and I will say this, Ted Cruz has no command of the committee. I have to say it, I was there. And the reason why he doesn't have command, as I heard, he actually admitted to it, because he was talking about how they were inquisitioning the generals about the aircraft and the helicopter that crashed over the Potomac. And he gave them like 48 or 72 hours, whatever, and it's been a week already, and they haven't responded to Ted Cruz. You know what that is? They already know he's a toothless tiger. In fact, he said, I'm going to do something, the wrath of the Senate is going to come down on you, blah, 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 blah. And then how about me? At the end, after he got done doing that mess, that spiel, I says, Mr. Chairman, I am a shareholder of Boeing. Did you receive, and I showed the book, did you receive this book last week? He said this. He said, order, order, I'll throw you out. Well, he's the commander. His guards didn't hear it. They heard throw out, and they came up to me, and they said, you got to go. I said, let me leave my bag here. Didn't you hear what he said? You got to go. So they walked me out. That means that he has no control over the people who are supposed to guard the committee. No control whatsoever. He is a toothless tiger. And Ted, you should step down. Or as I said to Rosa DeLauro and Jim Hahn, well, actually Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal, because they gave a thumbs up in 2015 to Lockheed Martin for working with communist China. Our representatives here in Connecticut, step the fuck down. And I could say that, by the way, Ted, because you know why? Because Patrick Shanahan, who is now the CEO of Spirit Aerospace Systems, former employee of Boeing, and also former Secretary of Defense, almost a Secretary of Defense under Donald Trump, stated under deposition, and you can look this up, about how do you think, Mr. Secretary Shanahan, you think about the F-35? And he said the program's fucked up. So let's continue on. This is for you, Mr. Cruz, the toothless tiger of the Senate. Ted Cruz urged to investigate Boeing's $60+ million cost-cutting measures that compromise safety. QA expert Daryl Guberman calls for immediate action. Daryl Guberman, a 40-year veteran in the aerospace and manufacturing quality assurance, is calling on Senator Ted Cruz, chairman of the Senate Subcommittee on Aviation and Space, to launch a comprehensive investigation into Boeing's cost-cutting strategies that have allegedly prioritized profits over passenger safety. Guberman's analysis reveals that since 2002, Boeing has implemented measures saving approximately $60+ million. $60 million is just a rough estimate. By reducing critical inspections, a move, he asserts, has led to compromised safety standards and undue pressure on inspectors. Key findings. Supplier self-inspections initiated in 2002. April and July of 2002, Boeing issued bulletins permitting suppliers to self-certify their components, effectively eliminating Boeing-led source inspections. Send in your certs, send your parts, and that's it. This change resulted in an estimated over $3 million annually by cutting costs associated with on-site audits. Organization Designation Authorization, ODA, granted in 2009. In 2009, the FAA granted Boeing ODA status, allowing the company to self-certify its own aircraft designs, and aircraft technologies, including systems like the MCAS system. This delegation saved Boeing an additional $3.4 million, so we're already up to $6.4 million per year by reducing external oversight. Notably, FAA inspectors under the ODA system are Boeing employees, leading potential conflicts of interest Guberman emphasized that this arrangement effectively makes the Boeing CEO a de facto FAA administrator, raising serious concerns about the impartiality of the accountability, undue pressure of inspectors. Reports have surfaced indicating that Boeing managers have exerted undue pressure on ODA unit managers, compromising integrity of safety inspections. For instance, between September 18th and September 2018 and May 2019, non-ODA Boeing managers allegedly interfered with ODA unit members, leading the FAA to propose a $1,250,000 fine in civil penalties against Boeing. In August 2020, the FAA fined Boeing for violations related to undue pressure on safety inspectors, highlighting instances where managers harassed employees to expedite inspections and retaliated against those who reported such pressures. That sounds like Mr. Barton was correct, the man who they think that he got murdered. These incidents, and I was sitting at David Calhoun's inquisition, I was sitting in front of that family. I also met his brother at this last meeting with Mr. CRUZ. These incidents underscore a troubling pattern where financial incentives overshadow critical safety checks, endangering the flying public. A call to action. While legislative bodies have initiated investigations to the Boeing's oversight, Guberman insists that investigations alone will not suffice. He asserts, until Boeing commits to substantial change and brings in external experts to overhaul their quality assurance processes, they will continue to endanger lives. And that person is me. I have put my book in many times. And when I saw David Calhoun, I put 11 letters of recommendation and a 42-page booklet, my CV, etc., into the board. I'm a shareholder, no response. I did that in October after I got back from meeting with Everett, Auburn, Renton, and Northfield out in Washington State. I was at Boeing's facilities. I spoke with many workers, and they gave me a bad scenario of what the malaise is inside of those shops. Until Boeing commits to substantial change and it brings external experts in to overhaul their quality assurance processes, they will continue to endanger lives. I am prepared to lead this transformation to restore safety and integrity to Boeing's operations. I'm a shareholder. I have a vested interest. Guberman urges Senator Ted Cruz to prioritize this issue within the Senate Subcommittee on Aviation and Space, but I don't think he's got teeth enough. I listened to those questions he asked Oberg. Baby steps. I think Cantwell was a little bit better, a lot better, as a matter of fact. Boeing's leadership to acknowledge the gravity of these findings and make immediate corrective actions. The flying public to exercise caution and demand accountability, and I will tell you this. Do not fly on a Boeing aircraft. Change your flight to an Airbus. I implore passengers, and I say this again, do not fly on a Boeing aircraft until the company commits to a comprehensive overhaul of its safety practices, because what I heard Oberg say is laughable from what I've heard from the employees that I befriended that call me a lot, where 50 to 200 discrepancies leave the hangar door. That to me, and they'll fix it later, that to me is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. These include appointing independent experts such as myself to lead the reform. Your safety is paramount, and without these changes, it cannot be guaranteed. About myself, I am a 40-year veteran in aerospace and manufacturing quality assurance. I'm renowned for my unwavering commitment to safety and transparency. As a Boeing shareholder, I have a vested interest in the company's ethical and operational success. I have offered my expertise to Boeing's board and also Kelly Oberg. And I stand ready to lead an overhaul of Boeing's quality systems to ensure long-term safety and public trust. And I promise you, and this goes right to Kelly Oberg, you get Daryl Guberman to be by your side, you will go down in Boeing's history as the #1 CEO to drag Boeing back to its once great self. Because if you don't get me, Kelly, your job will be like David Calhoun and Dennis Muhlenberg. You'll be put in front of the Inquisition Squad after the next plane goes down. 203-556-1493. Thank you.